Well, hello everyone. It's great to be back with YourTV for another update for the city of Belleville as we deal with these COVID-19 times. A very big thank you to the folks at YourTV for giving me this opportunity to provide you with an update as we have throughout the COVID-19 pandemic. And it really reinforces the importance of local media and local community broadcasting. And so we're very, very appreciative. This week's update is for the week of July the 26th. And at the beginning of the week, we had some excellent numbers for our region when it comes to active cases. There were no new cases over the weekend. We had a number of resolved cases. So we sat at the beginning of this week at only 3 active cases. There were no people, there was 1 person in a hospital, but nobody in intensive care and nobody on a ventilator. And that is great news for our region as we saw a little bit of a spike in the last couple of weeks, but it's been resolved. There have been 1,164 cases since the beginning of COVID. Unfortunately, we've had 11 fatalities, and there have been 501 different variants of concern. And so those are those mutations that happen when the original coronavirus or the COVID-19 that we first saw went through and changed and got stronger, and we're doing very, very well. Part of the reason why we're doing so well is because of our testing protocols. And we are now at 160,787 tests. Those numbers have dropped from the daily and the weekly numbers because we have less COVID in our community and we have less concern. But most importantly, those testing numbers have dropped because we have had lots of vaccinations. As of the beginning of this week, we were at 120,278 people who have received their first dose in our region, which is an 80% rate, which is excellent. And for people who have been double vaccinated, so fully vaccinated, 92,404 or 62%. And those are some excellent numbers. And if you have not had your vaccine yet, I encourage you to go and do so. You can walk in now to the clinics at the Quinte Sports and Wellness Center and Loyalist College. You can go to your pharmacy and you can contact your doctor's office for it. So please, please do so. Some of the impressive numbers with respect to vaccination that our health unit has been doing is that there have been a total of 248,433 individual vaccinations delivered in our Hastings and Prince Edward counties health unit region. And that is amazing. On top of those 248,000 doses that were administered, we've also had 36,642 Hastings and Prince Edward County residents who have been vaccinated outside of our region. So that is terrific, and it really is an amazing feat when you consider the logistics that have to go into providing that many doses in an organized, non-chaotic manner. We have had so many good comments regarding the professionalism of everyone that's been involved in the whole vaccination rollout. And I just want to say thank you and tip my hat to everybody. And again, I'll encourage everyone to get your vaccination if you haven't done so already. With respect to the city of Belleville, and just an update for how things are going, I can tell you that almost everything is open in the city. Most of our facilities are open, particularly our recreation ones. So, splash pads are open. The Kinsman Pool is open for people to be able to use it, particularly during these hot days. All of our parks, our outdoor sports fields, the Quinte Sports and Wellness Center, they're all open. And so we're seeing people return back to playing hockey and baseball and soccer. And the Belleville Youth swim team is back in practice at the Quinte Sports Wellness Center. And they did use the Kinsman Aquatic Center a little bit for some of their practicing. The Belleville Public Library is open again, as well as the Parrot Gallery there. So you can go, you'll be screened at the door, but you can enter. And Glanmore National Historic Site on Bridge Street is open, and they look forward to seeing you. And of course, Belleville City Hall is open. And in the coming days, we will be opening so that appointments won't be necessary. And what that means is sort of a change in the way that we're processing things. If you have to come to City Hall, I would encourage you to go to the City of Belleville website where we have a COVID-19 page. All of our updates are there, letting you know what's available and also what the procedures are at our facilities. Earlier today, or earlier this week, I had the privilege of being involved with the Belleville Senators and a press conference that was to discuss the launch of the 2021-22 season of hockey. The first home game for our Belleville Senators is October the 16th. It's a Saturday. They'll be hosting the Laval Rocket, our quickly becoming arch rivalry, and we're excited about that. Every indication from the province of Ontario is that we will be opening at full capacity for that facility. So today's media conference with the Belleville Senators, which included Anthony LeBlanc, the president of business operations, as well as Chris Neal, who is an alumni of the Ottawa Senators, and the new director of player development, Pierre McGuire. The purpose of that press conference was to launch the season ticket drive again for people, to let you know that if you were a season ticket holder in the past, we want you to return and come back to that really exciting hockey. And if you are considering doing it, if COVID has kept you indoors too much and you want to have some activities outside, to get tickets for really one of the most exciting things that's occurring in this region. As you know, prior to COVID, the Belleville Senators were first in their division, and they were really expected to do well in the playoffs. And then COVID hit, and everything had to go on pause. They did have a competitive season last year when they played out of the Canadian Tire Center in Ottawa against other Canadian teams. But we are looking forward to being able to watch the team here at home against the entire division, including the U.S. teams. And I encourage you to be there in person as well. With respect to sort of activities in the region, you know, the private sector in Belleville is pretty much wide open now. Almost all of our businesses are fully opened again. That includes all retail. It includes the Shorelines Casino. It includes the theaters and movie theaters, as well as the Empire Theater. Downtown, our al fresco activities are really doing well. The outdoor patios are doing so well. And also just this week, they introduced outdoor pianos. So residents can come and play piano out downtown. So if you have some skill, if you can play, come down and show off a little bit for everybody and entertain us. Also, our pop-ups at Westwick's Park have been hugely successful again this year with an expanded roster, and everything is going well. And I am so pleased to see, as I go around town, people are remaining cautious and they're being careful. While they're participating in all the activities, they're keeping their distance and they're really respecting everybody else. So that's great, and keep it up. With respect to City Council and some of the activities we've been doing, our next meeting is not until August the 9th. But if you have not received yet, you're going to receive in the coming days the latest edition of the Belleville Magazine. Here is a picture of this document. We produce this normally 4 times a year, but with COVID, we've reduced it to 3 times as part of our cost-cutting efforts. And this edition is another great one. Congratulations to Marilyn Warren and the staff here at the city and the communications that have done it. There's lots of information in there, including sort of the topic of the day, which is the ward survey. As I've explained in previous weeks, we have a 2-ward system now, where there are 2 councillors for Thurlow Ward and 6 councillors for Belleville Ward. So we have that unequal or uneven ward system. And what is being proposed, and we're trying to get feedback from residents on, is moving those 8 councillors in the 2 wards, 6 and 2, to 4 wards of 2 per ward. So there's no increase in number of councillors. There is just a change in how they are allotted. And so there is a short 3.5 minute video. Here is the website on the screen now. BellevilleWards.ca, and I encourage you to go take a look at the video. It'll provide some information, and then there's a questionnaire at the end of it, and we are seeking people's input. The deadline for that is August the 3rd, so I encourage everyone to go and do that, but also read this lovely magazine, the latest Belleville one for the summer of 2021. Also this week, I had an opportunity to meet as part of my work with all federal candidates in what we expect is going to be an election perhaps called shortly. And so today I met with the federal government candidates in this riding, the Liberal candidates, Neil Ellis and Mike Bosio. And I met with them so that we could discuss the needs of the city, particularly in advance of an election campaign. We talked about things like housing and social services and the infrastructure needs and the required investment on the part of the federal government in our infrastructure needs. We also discussed some of the funding that we've received in the past and that we're grateful for, but we gave them an idea of what to expect that we need in the future as well. And I certainly appreciated their time coming. In the coming days and weeks, I will be meeting with other candidates to make sure that they know what Belleville is looking for and what we need to be able to continue to grow our future. And I appreciate everyone taking the time. And elections are important. And I'd encourage everyone to vote whenever that federal election is called. And the last thing I want to talk a little bit about this morning is a wonderful event we had on Monday this week, where we recognized former Mayor Shirley Langer. Ms. Langer was the mayor from 1991 to 1994, and she was known for her environmental activism and trying to really lead Belleville at that time to be a more environmentally friendly community. It's interesting that today, a lot of what Shirley Langer was talking about that people perhaps thought was extreme in 1991 is commonplace. And she really was ahead of her time as she was speaking about how we can reduce, we can recycle, we can reuse, and we can even refuse the activities that are not good for our environment. And on Monday this week, Belleville City Council gathered along with former Mayor Marianne Sills and former councillors Wolf Tausenfreund and Brian Smith. And we were able to announce that the extension of the Bayshore Trail that runs from Herkimer Avenue east to the foot of Farley Avenue, just to the edge of the former Bakelite property, that we are going to be naming that trail after former Mayor Langer. And she was there to help unveil this sign with me. And then we also planted a tree. Again, I think very fitting for her being so well known for being concerned about the environment, the air we breathe, the water we drink, and how we can use our beautiful surroundings for relaxation and for enjoyment. And the extension of the trail, the first time that we've extended this trail in over 20 years, is a fitting tribute to former Mayor Shirley Langer. And she will be back in the spring when we officially open it. But we had a wonderful time yesterday. And I think she was really touched that the city of Belleville not only is remembering her service, but is honoring her in this way. So that was terrific. And I enjoyed driving her around town in an electric golf cart, fitting because, she, believed in reducing the amount of greenhouse gas emissions. But she really is amazed by how much the city has changed. And we thank her and we thank everybody who served previously on Belleville City Council in whatever role, because the great city we have today is left from them. So that's my update for this week, and I hope that everybody stays safe. We can still continue to follow those 3 W's I always talk about: wash your hands, wear a mask, watch your distance, and also use lots of sanitizer when you're starting to get out there. The province has issued revised standards or suggestions about how we should behave. So those of us that are fully vaccinated, we're able to interact with people who also are fully vaccinated without masks and a little bit more of a normal circumstance. We are able to eat indoors at restaurants and be able to do so much more activities. I just encourage everyone to stay safe. And I will be back next week with another update from the city of Belleville. I hope everyone enjoys the long weekend.